Hello and welcome to Uncovered, the podcast with your host, Jason Irving. Join me in a journey to understand what's truly happening in your world and the world around you. This is not about how you're living life on the surface. It's about what's truly driving you from under the covers. I'm going to take you on a journey to deeply uncover the reason why you are here, the ultimate purpose in your problems and the way that they have shaped your life up until now. See, I believe you have a purpose, and your problems are the highway towards ultimate realization of that journey towards freedom and the reconnection of your true self. I've been told I have a different spin on most things, and I'll be giving you my understanding of life, love, and what we're all here for, purpose. To get the best out of this podcast, drop what you already know so you can discover what's beyond you. So join me, let's play this game of life and bring on liberation, transformation, and change. Let's do this.
All right.
Hello, Jason. How are you today?
Yeah, not too bad. How are you?
I'm good. So what are we going to talk about today?
Well, today I thought we'd actually focus on feet. Feet. What do you think?
Yeah, I love feet.
Yeah, sometimes
Feet are
they
great.
smell, sometimes they don't. That was actually a little bit of a faux pas for me. We're going to focus on peace, not
Peace.
feet.
Okay. that
Sometimes
sounds good
we
as
need
well.
peaceful feet, but it's actually peace today. So I love this particular word. I think it's one of the hardest things to attain.
Mm-hmm.
Usually we think it's an external thing, so this is the way in which we think. So if we go and do yoga, we'll be at peace.
Mm-hmm.
If we go and do some exercise, we'll be at peace. If we go into nature, we find peace. So we're looking for something that's going to provide it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we do. Regardless of people cliche saying, we need to find this inner peace.
Mm-hmm.
So what we've started to create is this idea that we have to build something that is going to create that feeling. So it has to be an environment. So we put ourselves in an environment to make ourselves feel peaceful. So let's say you feel peaceful when there's people around.
Mm-hmm.
Because you need people around you. Feel alone or lonely if you don't, right? As an example, not saying you do or you don't feel you. This is what we do. We've constructed a whole bunch of rules around what it needs to be for us.
Or like lay on the beach,
Yeah.
you know, and to be peaceful.
Yeah, I'm at peace when I go to the beach. I'm at peace when I'm in the mountains. I'm at peace when I'm with my partner. And these are our constructed rules. So what I suggest you guys do right now is write down your rules around peace. You need to write them down so you know what you have to break free from. So I would always say this every time I'd say, I just want some peace when I get home. I'd have a hurricane at home. Every single time I wanted this word to come forward, it would be a hurricane. I'd just have to end up, and I'd get really disappointed and resentful. I'd be working all day and then I'd come home and it'd be an absolute shit fight.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have a fight with my partner, or kids were all over the place, and I'd be thinking, what am I doing wrong here? And what I realised is peace is asking for something different from us.
Mm-hmm.
It's asking us to be responsive in all situations
Rather than reactive.
rather than reactive. So what a Sea of Peace is designed to do is allow us to be able to respond in all environments. So to be able to meditate in a casino or meditate when there's a fly buzzing in your ear.
Oh God, I couldn't do that.
Or a bee, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we need, as you say, you need a circumstance. Now I can meditate in any situation. I'm very good at it and I'm very focused in that way.
Mm-hmm.
So people quite often say to me, you're the most peaceful person I've ever met. I can be sitting in someone's world and understand what's going on and be really calm in someone else's thunderstorms.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't walk away from those thunderstorms carrying a thunderstorm within me, which is a lot of what therapists and helpers do. If they don't get the result for the thunderstorm, they feel a little bit of a thunderstorm inside.
Yeah.
And that's very, very common when our identity is based on helping people.
Mm.
So peace is very, very important to understand. So I'm going to give you a really interesting understanding around this every single time. This is 100% of the time. When I was a healer, I would take people to that feeling where there was nothingness. It was like everything, the heartbeat was almost gone, is what it's sort of what you want to think about here, guys who are listening or watching right now. And every single person 100% said, "This is boring, Jason." So think about that. It's actually boring to be at peace because there's what? Nothing to do.
Yeah. I guess it's like if you said, "Oh, I feel peaceful when I'm at the beach," and then you move to the beach and you just spend every day, all day on the beach. At some stage you'll be like, "I want something more than just the beach," you know? Maybe go to a different one, or, you know, like explore something different and do something different. Yeah.
That's right. So what we've got to understand around peace is to discover that it's not meant to always be there. Because if we stay in peace, we don't necessarily grow. So we need a little bit of turbulence, a little bit of pressure to move ourselves a little bit further. Peace is great. It's not meant to be permanent. And once we let go of its need to be permanent, we become more peaceful. Because we know that turbulence is the rule giver for growth. So it supplies. A bit of a hurricane is good. A bit of pressure is good. Too much pressure isn't. Okay? But we need to know how to arrive at peace. So when you've got stuff that you need to work on and things that you need to do and pressure that you create, it's being peaceful in those situations that allow you to understand why they're there, why they're being constructed. So the number of times where I've felt like a hurricane inside, take a big breath into that feeling, I ask peace to enter me so then I can slow everything down and get my answers in a peaceful way. But it's looking at the duress. I'm not trying to run away from the duress, which is what people think they need to do.
You just want to understand it.
I want to go into my duress in a peaceful way, into my problems in a peaceful way. No resistance to the problems. Let them come to me. Let the hurricane be there, while peace is getting an opportunity to be comfortable with that situation. So then when I get tested again, then I can be peaceful the next time. And then if I fail and I'm a hurricane, I'm like, okay, I didn't land peace in that situation. Okay, let's try it again. Oh, I didn't do it again. Okay, let's give it another shot. Oh, that was better. Repetition to feel comfortable. So if you think about what you do when you've done something, doing something for the first time, our head goes, can I do it? I'm not good enough. All of these things, or we get excited. We get two choices around new things.
Yeah.
Every time we do. And it depends on what situation it is that arrives at a different thing. So if it's bungee jumping and people love that stuff, they're like, oh, I can't wait to jump out off this cliff and bungee jump. So that's an exciting thing. But if it was having your first baby, that's a bit of anxiety, because you don't know whether you're going to die, you don't know what's going to happen, you don't know what it's going to be. Breastfeeding, the whole lot. So how do we arrive at peace? So eventually, oh yes, I can now breastfeed. I know what to do. You know, I take that bungee jump and I do it, and I could do it again, over and over again. So the more we repeat the same thing, we find peace in it. Now think about this. If we do it way too much, we get what? Bored. And then we're looking for something new to arrive at. So comfort and peace are very, very similar. We need to learn how to arrive at peace but not need it to be there all the time. Once we do that, we're comfortable with what it can do for us, so we can actually improve and grow through peace, rather than feel like everything's going to be too hard when we don't know something.
That makes a lot of sense. So repetition leads to peace, but too much of it leads to boredom.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? So remember, guys, if you're bored, you're doing something way too much and you need something new to arrive on. This is why our techniques are very, very different. People get really excited about them simply because they're brand new.
Yeah.
No one's doing them, and everyone goes, wow, this is all new. And you get to learn something. It's like, oh, just like you did technique, you're you're really anxious today, and you told me this morning you almost threw up, and you did one of our techniques, and it was instantly gone, that pain or pressure that you were feeling inside.
Yeah.
And it wasn't trying to get rid of it. You engaged with it, didn't you?
Yeah, I just wanted to know why I was feeling that way, and then when I got the answer, it was gone.
Yeah. And isn't it cool how quick we can get our answers?
Yeah.
So sometimes we need answers to find peace, and sometimes we just need to be okay with what's happening without answers.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes down to this. I remember when I'll be talking about this in another series. I ended up in the psych ward, and I wanted to know everything about myself. This was in 2000, the day my brain broke. Okay? And that time I wanted to know everything. I had a therapist afterwards, in the aftermath of the event, and she said to me this: Jason, if you need to know everything about your life and every single fine detail, you'll be here for the rest of your life in problems. I never ever forget that statement, because I let go that day of trying to find every answer to every problem, and I found peace.
Then you were healed?
Well, I just felt like I didn't have to try and hold on to my shame and all of those things in that moment, and I started just living my life again.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes when we do personal development, we can get so stuck in the well and not know how to get out. Because the deeper you go, the deeper you'll find things, and it will never end. So when you start arriving at peace with the things that you find out, and then you can live your life, enjoy time with people, and be at peace with the situations that have occurred in your life, then they don't repeat in life either. And if they do repeat, we can manage them and deal with them in a very, very different way to the way that we normally do. So let's say, as an example, in relationships, you constantly create idiots, right? Every time you create a relationship, you create idiots. And you do it over and over again, and then you get sick of it. But imagine if you're at peace of the fact that that's what you do, and you figure out, oh, that's because I overcare and I overdo things for people. Oh, in actual fact, I'm actually really controlling. And that chaotic person is asking us to stop doing that. And until we understand that we are controlling, trying to make everything right and doing overgiving, we'll create the dickhead every time to stop us. And then we go, hang on, if I let people look after me, there's a whole nother game. And then we're at peace with the way in which we've orchestrated the dickhead to come to our life. Then we have a nice guy, then we don't know what to do. And this happens a lot when I help people reconstruct their way in which they understand how they build relationships.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
So it's such a great opportunity to change, really.
Yeah. So you've got to be at peace with what you're struggling with. Once you're at peace with what you're struggling with, things change. I remember I desperately wanted approval from my dad the day I let it go. I'm proud of you, Jason. I'm like, oh my God. Tells me he's proud of me the moment I don't need it, and I chuckle inside. I'm like, I was at peace with that want and desire, disappeared, and then it got supplied to me on a platter, and I just chuckled. I was like, yeah, I've told so many people to do this, and I wasn't doing it with my dad. The moment I did, I got this beautiful hug and tear-based, I'm proud of you, huge moment for me. And at that time, I was so at peace. There was no tears. I was just like, I don't need this anymore. This is great. It's my bonus. It's like bonus at your job.
That's beautiful.
Right? So what we desperately want, we've got to be at peace with maybe the fact we'll never ever get it. What if we don't get what we desperately want? And we spend all our life desperately needing something, and then we let it go, and then it arrives. We teach this in the academy. It arrives once you let go of the pressure, once you're at peace with your situations.
It always reminds me of when I was a kid, and then, you were looking for this one particular toy and you couldn't find it because the room was a mess. And then you're like, oh, never mind, I'll just play with something else. And then you found it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Your treasure you will find when you don't need to have it anymore. And that's what true peace is. So if you need that big house, if you need that right partner, if you need to feel validated by somebody, peace will never arrive at your door. When you are comfortable of filling your own bucket and letting go of the need for our whatever desire you're looking for, then peace will arrive in a moment's notice, and it'll say to you, you're very welcome and you can have this present now.
That's really beautiful.
Right. And look, I really want to hand something to you guys. I can hear maybe you will be thinking, well, what about all those people who get what they want and they're arseholes? Right? What about those people, Jason? I'll say, yeah, but are arseholes peaceful? That's the response. People who create lots and lots of stuff, that doesn't mean they're peaceful, they're just creating stuff. Don't get so fixated on people telling you that they are happy and telling you that they are peaceful, because one thing I've learned, when I have a good look in people's eyes, I don't see a lot of peace on this planet. And people who tell you they are, they're quite often not the most peaceful. Right? I get told I'm peaceful. I don't say I'm peaceful. People tell me, you're the most calm person I've ever met. But I don't say I'm the most calm person that you'll ever meet, Philia, do I?
No.
And that's what people say in the academy, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Right? I'm calm under the thunderstorm. And when you saw how much I was doing before I got you working for me, you were like, how the hell are you surviving and breathing with everything that you do?
And still pretty calm.
And still calm around it. So that's what I want to hand to you today, guys, is that peace is a journey of release. Don't try to chase it. And yoga is not going to get you there if you can't be yogaed, a yogi, in daily life, and you need that 1 hour to make yourself feel peaceful. That's not peace. That's just an addiction to trying to do something to try and get that feeling. You have to be in the non-yogi moments to know if you know peace well. That's where you have to find it. And it won't work all the time. It won't happen all the time. You'll find a hurricane and be like, okay, this is where I need to work and find my peace.
That's true. It's like the yogi and then being stuck in traffic and getting really angry.
That's right. Yeah. And I know this guy used to do meditation for 2 hours a day, and he was seeing a psychologist. I said to him one day, I'm pretty sure that's not working, that meditation. He was so pissed off with me, but he was using it as an addiction to keep going. And I just called it out on him and said, you've seen a psychologist and you're going to do this meditation. You need to do less meditation and live life, because that's not working.
And did he?
We don't see each other anymore because he didn't like the fact that I called him out, because he was very unpeaceful by telling me how peaceful his technique was to actually, and I was just pretty logical. I just said, well, this is obviously not working. If you're having to see a psychologist every week and you're doing meditation every day, it surely is a problem right here. But people don't like hearing what makes them peaceful when they're challenged, and I just use logic to say, is this really true? You get to see the hurricane in people. And I've felt that a lot of the time. Sometimes I'll challenge a leader about, where they're at in their moment, and they'll get really, really angry. I'm just like, but I thought you were very peaceful about things. When you get challenged about what you believe and what you think, and you react, then you've got no peace in that belief system. There are people who are not going to believe you. And if you're trying to convince them about your truth, then where's your peace? That's just called righteousness.
No, absolutely, yeah.
Right? So we have to learn to be at peace with other people's opinions and differences. Right now, you might be getting frustrated with me and thinking what I'm saying is wrong, and I'm okay with that. It's really important. I know these techniques work and work really fast that we share in the academy. It might not be for you, though. I'm just hoping that you actually have a little bit of a think about what I'm saying to arrive at peace in your own way.
I think that's a beautiful way to close this conversation for today.
Yeah, thanks, Philia. So
thank you so much.
If you think someone needs to hear this information, I'd love it if you'd review, share it, and let people know. If you want to see this, if you're listening to this on the podcast, our website is www.wellnessbreakthroughacademypodcast.com, and I'd love some feedback around this. Well, tell me what you think. Tell me if you don't like it. See if I can arrive at peace with your opinions. Thank you.
Thanks.